Hey everybody, Ryan Malum here. Making this video because over the last couple of months I've gotten a couple emails from some people, guitar players I guess, that were asking how to play some stuck Mojo songs. And one that came up on a handful of times was the song Trick, which was on the album Rising, the album right after Pig Walk and the album right before Declaration of a Headhunter. Just so you guys know, it's drop C tuning. That means you go a full step down from E standard and then you drop the top string to C. So it should sound like this. So if you play the top three strings open, it gives a really nice full, kind of sounding chord. I mean, also your tone is very important with how that chord is going to sound. But I'm going to break this into a couple parts. The first one I'm going to do, the first part is going to be the first riff, which is the chunky riff. It's the really cool riff that you hear a few times through the song. And I think the important thing about playing that riff correctly is not necessarily what you're doing with your left hand. It's how you're picking with your right hand. It's how you're phrasing with your right hand. And I've heard Rich talk on a couple of occasions how he records. And one is that he has a click track. He has a click track that, but it's also accompanied by some sort of other supplemental percussion, which is like a shaker or a tambourine, so it should sound like almost kind of like a train going down the track, but very kind of it allows you to kind of fit in the groove of playing the riff. But like I was saying, the important part is what you're doing with your right hand. So what I would do is I would cue up the song, listen to the song, and play along with the song. Don't even worry about your left hand, and try to get the phrasing down with your right hand. So it should be something like this. And be really, make sure that you're hitting the first two top strings, okay? What I'm doing with my left hand is I'm just muting it, so it's actually making sound, but you're not hearing any audible notes because I'm muting it with my left hand. Anyway, so this first riff is, it's based around the key of C, but the first note, okay, is going to be on the 6th fret. So you're barring the top string and the A string. Those two, so that's the first note. 6th fret, okay? Now, the next thing, a lot of the way this riff is played, it's very syncopated, okay? Like I was saying with the right hand, but you also have to match up the syncopation with your left hand as well. So it goes, here are the frets you're going to be working with. It's 6, 3, open, 6, 3, open, 1, 4, open. So it's kind of like a very snaky type of and you're just bouncing up and down the fretboard on those first 6 frets. Okay, so this is how I play it. Now Rich plays it. He's got kind of meatier fingers. So he bars that 6th fret with his pinky. I do it with my ring finger. I don't know if it really matters. I can still have a good stretch with my ring finger. So okay, it might be a little bit easier on the hand if you develop that ability to be able to bar with your pinky. And I'm never really worried about it. I just use my pinky when I'm doing something fast. Because I feel like I can hold on to the tone of the note with my ring finger a little bit better. But as long as you can play it correctly, I don't really think it matters. But here's the riff. Here's how I play it. So that's basically the riff. I'll turn on the other amp so you can get a more stereo feel about it though. thing about this riff, I didn't say it before, man, Rich is basically muting everything that he's picking. It's all muted, so he's never playing anything really open and wide open. He's muting it with his right hand. So it's okay, so that's basically how he's playing it. Another thing too is, like I was saying before, not only is the syncopation really important with the right hand, but the syncopation is very important with the left hand as well, because you're actually moving some space, and you got to be able to lock in that syncopation with the right hand and the left hand. So I would probably say make sure that get the syncopation down first with just the picking, and then the second would be the first part of the riff. Or something, some sort of variation. Something like that, so you can really lock in the syncopation. That way when you shift frets, you're going to be able to still hear that time and still feel the time within your fingers. Okay, so that's the first riff. If you guys have any questions, make comments on my YouTube site below, and like I said, I'll get into the second part, which would be basically the second riff of this song. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you soon.